Now, before I begin this video, you know I gotta have me a drink, so here we go. Good evening, y'all, and welcome to the latest edition to Brian Jones Quarantine Bars Reading Podcast. You know what I'm saying? I've been talking about this since last night, so tonight is the night we get it done. So I want to let y'all know that these are the two books I'm going to be reading to y'all for in a couple of months. Starting with this book right here. Can you see the title? Yeah. And plus, I want to read y'all the very first chapter about the story I've done a couple months ago. I know y'all seen the artwork on Facebook. You know what I'm saying? I keep talking about it, but now the first chapter is done. It's called In Search of the Emerald. So, without further ado, I want to read the first chapter for y'all. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the smooth voice of mine. And plus, I'm going to be needing this because my throat gets dry after reading each paragraph. So enough chit-chat, let's get into the story. Chapter 1. The Search Begins. The story begins on a silent winter night, where the full white moon shines its light upon the trees, and the icy wind flows through the peaceful atmosphere of the forest. Elsewhere, a mysterious figure in a black hooded cloak stands on a rocky hill, staring at a medieval castle, which is actually an ancient prison separated by the deep waters, observing it from a distance. Suddenly, a disembodied voice speaks from the static earpiece of the hooded figure. Did you manage to find the location? Yes, indeed, sir. He is inside on the top floor, level 3. Good. But be careful. Despite the ancient exterior, the place is well guarded with high security. The hooded figure observed the electric barbed wire fence and the sniper's nest in the watchtower. The hooded figure responds with a confident smirk. Don't you worry, sir. I will make this quick as possible, just as long as nobody stands in my way. Then rolls up his sleeves, revealing a huge electrical charge and sparks flying from each hand. Inside the prison, the hallways are cold, dank, and fairly lit. Everything was quiet until two drunken correctional officers walked in, laughing and cracking jokes. The two suddenly stopped by one cell and got a look at this one unkempt inmate snoring loudly in his bed. Hey, check out this loser. He looks like a homeless junkie. His partner nudges him to stop laughing for a moment to remind him who he is. Hey, this homeless bum just so happened to be Sid Vicious Gallo. The first officer scoffed in disbelief. Sid Vicious? That's the most generic name I've ever heard. What, am I supposed to be intimidated by this punk? Yeah, right. You know, when I think of Sid, I think of the guitar-playing punk who overdosed on heroin, not this boy band reject. Hey, chill, man, his partner said. There's a reason why he was transferred here to level 3. Don't let this guy looks fool you. He's indeed a violent criminal. He's been charged with kidnapping, armed robbery, extortion, larceny, grand theft, carrying illegal firearms, getting in fights with police, and actually almost killing one of them. Hell, just recently, he assaulted another inmate just for interrupting his phone call. And after explaining all the details, his partner was still unamused. Takes one sip from his flask and says, Ha! Honestly, all this seemed utterly ridiculous. You mean to tell me that this boy band reject is responsible for every crime that you listed? Man, get the hell out of here with this crap. The officer tried to warn him not to underestimate the said inmate, but his partner insists that, given the chance, he would snap the boy's neck like a wishbone. Unbeknownst to them, Sid was still in bed listening to the whole conversation, grumbling, Yeah, I'll show you, motherfucker. Just wait till I break free from this dump. Then suddenly, a flash of ultraviolet light appears and grows larger, turning the scenery outside into a giant white blur. blinding both correctional officers and Sid as well. The light disappears, and there is a brief moment of silence. And then, boom! A massive explosion bombards the entire prison yard, leaving it completely engulfed in flames and billowing smoke. The officers go in complete shock and devastation as the horrific action continues. The officers tried to contact the emergency response team downstairs, but all they heard was complete silence in the earpiece. The air is filled with tension and horror as one of the officers glanced outside to see both the barbed wire fence deep in flames and the watchtower being blown apart. Frightened, the officers suggested that they go downstairs to check on the crew to investigate the chaos, when there stood the same hooded figure in black with his head down. The officers asked who he is, how did he get past security? But the hooded one remained in silence, only giving a slight smirk. They pulled out their guns and aimed it at him, letting him know that there will be more trouble if he does not cooperate. But the boy looks up at the officers and said, "No, it is you that's going to be the one in trouble." Before they can pull the trigger, the hooded figure raises his left arm, which unleashes an electrical surge, knocking the weapons out of their hands, disarming them. Then he charges them again, and this time knocking them unconscious, leaving them momentarily paralyzed. The hooded figure takes notice of the disheveled Sid watching in shock. He uses his powers to unlock the cell door, and Sid walks out to thank him. "And you can thank me later. Right now, we need to leave immediately." "Oh yeah, my bad, man. Hey, by the way, I didn't get your name." "Oh, where are my manners? Allow me to introduce myself. The name is Lockhart." Sid noticed the sudden change in the vocal, from a deep monotone to a complete feminine one. Then, removing the hoodie and revealing a beautiful face of a woman with her long jet black hair falling at arm's length. He was completely taken back. Whoa, a badass chick wrapped in a black cloak? He stood dumbfounded for a quick second. Then Lockhart gives him a hard slap to the face to remind him that it's time to leave. She tosses him his clothes and his metallic bow staff, which was contained in a storage center. "Hurry, there's no time to waste. Grab my hand." Okay." Sid then grabs onto her as she uses her powers to teleport them out before more guards could even catch them. "Hold on tightly, kid," she tells Sid as they are prepared to be teleported out of the building. Now that the officers were left in the midst of the confusion, while finding their fellow comrades lying unconscious and seeing the sheer mayhem outside of the prison walls. Meanwhile, further away from the prison, Sid continues to thank her for his escape. Then Sid asks, "Where do we go from here?" She stared there with complete anger and silence. She raises her left arm again. With a snap of a finger, the prison is completely dismantled, surrounded in fire and destruction. Whew, gotta take me a drink. Mm. Scene 2. It's the next morning, and the weather is still bitterly cold. The scene begins with a young lady wrapped in a huge blanket, desperately trying to keep warm. She lies in bed while looking through her old childhood photos when she sees a picture of her old friend that she used to go to school with. Seeing this brings tears to her eyes as memories and voices ring inside her head. "No matter what, Rocky, you and me together, we're best friends for life. I'll always be here for you." Those words echo through her mind as she continued to stare at the photo. And all of a sudden, a moment of nostalgia is interrupted by a news bulletin. She reaches for the remote control to turn up the volume on the television. Good morning. Let's check on the forecast for today's weather. As snowstorm rises, the temperature continues to drop to at least 37%. All businesses, all schools, and roads will be closed due to severe snowstorm. So please stay inside and keep warm as much as you can. Now on to the news. Just last night, a maximum security prison has been completely demolished. Some struggle how a notorious prison that has been around for centuries is now reduced to smoldering ashes. Others struggle to find the cause of the savagery. For a more in-depth look, our news crew takes you to the scene of the crime to investigate for more details. Raquel gripped the blankets as close to her as she watches the news, seeing helicopters, fire departments, EMS trucks, and police vans all arriving to the scene of a crime that was still covered in smoke and debris. It looks as if we were hit by a nuclear airstrike. Watching the whole thing play out left Raquel frozen. The camera focused on the severely injured officers. Some were in complete shell shock, while others were carried on stretchers. They were given coffee and many things trying to ease their nerves. Then we cut to the commissioner trying to gain composure during the interview. The cameraman gives a panoramic view of the desolated prison. One of the officers reported that when the whole thing began, it was all quiet. Then a very loud explosion hit, similar to a volcano eruption. Then more explosions began to follow and knocked out the entire security system, turning the whole place into a gigantic crater. What's strange was most of the inmates disappeared. One of them was a 21-year-old Sidney Callow, a known felon that was transferred there years ago. They've also reported that his disappearance was aided by an unknown figure clad in black. Raquel's eyes were wide open when she glanced at the photo of Sid. Then she noticed a familiar face, a man with black slick back hair, a stubble, and a permanent scowl. His name was Peter Alexander Roth, a war veteran, now a highly respected police detective. He approached the camera crew and let them know that he and the commissioner will look into this immediately and vowed to bring this criminal to justice. Then he tells the news team, "All right, no further questions. This interview is over. Cut the cameras off now," with a stern voice. "Stop filming." After that, Raquel jumps out of bed to put on some warm clothes to rush downstairs and to find her boyfriend. She asked her crewmates in the kitchen, "Have you seen Timothy?" "Nope, you checked the garage, he could be in there." She rushes to the garage only to find her brother Steele working on the engines of the cargo plane. Then they heard a loud thud which was coming from the outside. "Well, there's your answer, sis," he says as he nods his head to the window. She runs out only to find him honing his skills in the shooting range. There, he stood with a closed fist, determined to hit the target, but he appears to be weakened physically and suffer from a little trauma. In his head, he hears the terrified screams of little children and crying mothers. Visions of past battle replay in his mind. The combination of sadness and volatile anger puts him right back in focus. Then he takes square aim at the target, channeling his anger to make a huge fire appear from his closed fist. Raquel tried to get his attention, but he couldn't hear due to his volume of his powers increasing. And just when he's about to let off a shot, Raquel shouted his name loud enough to distract him. Only he misses his target and almost hits Raquel by mistake, but luckily she ducked a huge fireball as it flies into the garage, causing a huge damage to the wall. "Hey, watch where you're shooting that thing, man. You almost killed me back here," Steele shouted. Sorry about that, man," Timothy shouted back. "Hey, so what's going on? And what's so important that you had to run out in your pajamas to tell me?" Sid tells him that she tells him that on the news. "Hey, remember that kid Sidney Callow?" "Yeah." "Well, they reported that he has escaped from prison just last night." Timothy raises his voice. "What?" Raquel explains to him that not only has he escaped, but half of the prison was burnt down. Timothy stood in disbelief. How could this happen on their watch? Why was nobody paying attention? Where was security in all this? I thought the security was top notch. Apparently I was wrong. I know. And on top of that, they say that he had help with an unknown accomplice dressed in black. After telling him the news, Raquel sees him standing in silence, with a clenched fist with anger and anxiety. I don't get it. I thought by putting that bastard away for good, we could finally put all this bullshit behind us. Raquel asked, but what? Then he came to the conclusion that the masked accomplice couldn't just got that boy out for no reason. No, I'm convinced that the person was given orders by a higher power. Then he realized who was responsible. No, it's him, he says in a shaky voice. What? You don't mean him? Are you sure? She asked. Yeah, I'm certain of it. I knew that he wouldn't stay gone for long. He was just giving us the slip. He was giving us the illusion that he disappeared off the face of the earth. All along, he was biding his time to create a new scheme for world domination. All he needed was new flunkies to fill the roster. Raquel was surprised at the fact that their longtime nemesis would be orchestrating Sid's escape. Then, seeing the look on his face, she slowly goes over to console him. Honey, I know that you're angry. Then Timothy raises his voice. No, honey, I'm not angry. I'm fucking pissed! His anger grew and the glowing red flames appeared from his fist. Raquel held on to him tightly to calm him down. Sweetie, please calm down. The gang rushes outside to see what was going on. Hey, is everything all right out there? Yeah, we saw big ass fireworks from out the window. Y'all fighting or something? His brother Andre asked. Nah, little bro. I'm just having a moment. Everything's good now, Timothy reassures. Still lets them know that he's making breakfast. Let me know he's giving you a hard time, sis. Tommy smirked and said, Jeez, your relationship status is damn sure complicated. Don't worry, Steele. I got this under control. She smiled, then turns to Timothy and seeing him tremble and his hand being scarred. She sees him breathing heavily, trembling. She managed to catch him before he falls to his knees. Baby, you gotta slow down. I mean, you're exhausting yourself. You need to rest. Take some time off. She looks at him square in the eyes with compassion and says this. Honey, look, I completely understand your anger and frustration. Hell, I'm even angry and pissed at the mere thought of it. But we both know that he would eventually come back someday. That's why I need you. And more importantly, we need you as a leader. Then Timothy suddenly gives a huge sigh as he stares into Raquel's eyes. You're right. I'm sorry. I just lost it. I keep thinking about all the hell that we've been through. Like, so many lives lost because of one man's treachery. Rocky, I still have those nightmares of hearing the screams and the cries. I swear to God, if given the chance, I'd have his head on a stake. And for every sin that he committed, I would be more than happy to crucify him myself. Trust me, we've all felt the same way. But honey, we're here with you. You don't have to bear this pain alone. We are a team. Just know that. Then she gives him a gentle kiss on the cheek. He slowly regained his composure. He grins and said, You know, I'm glad you calmed me down. I'm really glad that you calmed me down. I needed that. Well, and since that creep is making a comeback, It's only right that we give him a warm welcome. Let him know that we are in the area and we're ready for war. Yeah, instead of waiting for him to come to us, we'll take the fight to him. Raquel asked what's the first thing they should do. Timothy suggested that to alert the crew, get everybody to pack up their equipment and get ready to leave. All right, alert the crew. Let them know that we're out of here. All right, first, get your brother Steele to load up the cargo plane. Tommy will get all the weapons and armory from the storage, and Andre will get on his laptop and use his drone to search for his whereabouts. Then she asks, is there anything that she could do? He tells her, look, honey, I'm going to need you to be my eyes and ears, okay? While we're on this mission, we might encounter some ambush or some deadly traps. So we need to look out for each other, always. Yes, always, she whispered. Timothy raised his voice with confidence and says, all right, let the search begin. Then their stomach growls and says, right after we eat breakfast first. All right, scene 3. Meanwhile, back at the demolished prison site, both the commissioner and Detective Roth discussed the aftermath of the situation. He noticed the commissioner was pacing back and forth in a frantic mode. Sir, you gotta calm down. You're making me nervous. The commissioner gives a furious look and says, you want me to be calm? A prison that has been around for God knows how long is now reduced to a giant pile of ash. I mean, this could mean billions and billions of dollars in property damage and even more in repairings. Peter stood profound at what the commissioner has said. Sir, half your staff are injured and ready to quit. There's a wanted fugitive on the loose, and the only thing you're concerned with is your precious bank account? Jeez, I can see where your priority lies. Then Peter noticed the stressful look on the commissioner's face and apologized for his outburst. Sorry, sir. It's all right, officer. That's to be expected anyway. I'm grateful that you showed up. You're the only one we could count on at this point. Did you manage to find anything? No, we're still looking for traces of evidence to find where he might hide next. Not to mention our crew is still running investigation on a bombing of both police precinct and a psychiatric ward a few months earlier. These two incidents have one thing in common. They involve this one girl that has escaped from prison and disappeared. He shows the picture of both the precinct and the hospital that were decimated. Then the commissioner sees the picture of the girl's mugshot with one side of the face being covered by thick black hair strands. Her name was Christina Lockhart. He asked Peter, are you absolutely sure? Then Peter explained, yes. She was charged with arson and homicide at the age of 17. Her neighbors reported before the fire started, they heard constant arguing, lots of glass shattering, screaming, then multiple gunshots rang out. Lockhart was sentenced to up to 15 years in prison while her mother lived out the rest of her days in the Babcock Asylum. The commissioner looked perplexed and had more questions. But how can you be so sure of that? As far as we know, it might just be a coincidence. I mean, we have no leads or evidence linking the person to these crimes. Furthermore, how did she manage to get free? And why did she choose to bomb those places? What was her intention behind all of this? You know, I'm starting to get aggravated. Like, this whole thing is stupid, man. Pete stated that his guess was either she wanted to make a statement or doing it for personal vengeance, specifically for her mother. There were numerous claims of assault and physical torture at the hands of staff members, and her mother just so happened to be one of the victims. Plus, she had outside connections. Just then, one of the officers rushed in from the cold to bring a piece of evidence for the guys to help the case. Sir, we scouted the area and we came across this burnt orange jumpsuit. Plus, we retrieved surveillance footage from one of the broken cameras. It's all right here on this disc. Peter placed the disc inside the laptop, and the footage displayed the scenario on the screen. There it is. What? The person in black. Wait. Go in a bit further. I want to see who that is. Surely enough, once they adjust the screen, they finally got a clear look at the suspect. The commissioner was completely surprised. It's her! But how did she get inside? Peter concluded that she probably had an agenda, and it includes that boy in the footage. She could also sense the booby traps and the security alarms. Looks like she did her thorough research on the place. But I don't get it. Why didn't she go past security and just leave with the boy? I mean, no ordinary girl can do all that damage. Then Peter explained, she might look it, but she's no ordinary girl. I'm guessing that she has a mean narcissistic streak and is basically taunting us. Suddenly, he has a look of absolute horror. No, no, he says with existential dread. She couldn't have done this by herself. The commissioner asks whether she is a part of a religious cult. Peter disagrees. No. Religion has nothing to do with this. In fact, she was given orders to get that boy out by this one man, Dr. Machino. Dr. Eric Machino? The scientist who was accused of several murders? Yeah, he's the one pulling the strings behind the curtains. Wait, I thought he was brutally killed in a shootout. Turns out he was giving us the slip and went into hiding. Peter then grabbed his coat and started to head towards the door. Wait, detective, where are you going? I'm going on a manhunt. I'm going to find those bastards. I ain't got time for chit-chat. Matter of fact, alert all officers in the area. Put out an APB for both Sidney Callow and Christina Lockhart. Let them know that we're on every street, every corner, every block, in every city. The commissioner follows Roth outside. Roth, wait! Come back! Wait, detective, you can't go out there by yourself. Don't try to stop me, sir, Peter explained. I'm the one that brought him in, so therefore I'm going to go there and bring him back myself, no matter what the cost. Detective, I know you caught them before, but this is not about my ego or my accolades. For me, this is bigger than that. The commissioner takes a deep sigh and tells him, I understand, sir, but you're going to need all hands on deck. You're going to need serious backup and all the firepower that you have. Because honestly, there's a possibility of you not coming back alive. He looks at the commissioner with contempt, then realizes he makes a valid point. Now that the two have escaped, there's no telling what they might have planned next. At least let me come with you. I've hired the most highly skilled soldiers on the squad. And as far as we know, they might be out of this city. Hell, they might as well be out of this state. Or even out of this country. All right, Commish, welcome aboard. Then orders the young officers to get the helicopter ready, as they are prepared to go on a major search for the two wanted fugitives that are on the loose. Oh, man. Throat's getting dry. All right. Scene 4. Later, we cut back to the headquarters where our heroes are getting prepared for their mission. Hey, Steele, how's the plane looking? Everything's looking good, Chief. The engine's fixed, the tank is completely full, plus we got plenty of antifreeze. All right. Hey, Tommy, how's the weaponry? Well, we got all the armor, the flashbang grenades, and not to mention we got heavy firearms that can blow up an army tank with just one shot. Tommy then pulls out a new revolver to show off his firepower. He pulls the trigger and fires a huge blast into the woods and causing a huge sonic boom. Then Power Cat stood there with a surprised look on his face. While Tommy jumps around with joy. Yeah. Awesome, huh? Yeah. Thanks. We'll definitely be needing that when it's time to battle. Then Power Cat looks around for his brother Andre. Hey, has anybody seen Andre? He yells his name twice, and Andre responds while standing behind him. Jesus Christ, you almost scared the crap out of me. Hey, you got any information? Yep. According to my GPS tracking device, we picked up the signal and located where their hideout is. Then Andre shows a screenshot of the area. The tracking device had picked up his scent in a deep forest. And also, from the information I've gathered from my laptop, the forest is located in a place called the Emerald Island. Raquel asked, why is it exactly called that? Well, it says right here that the island is centered around this little emerald gem right here. Excuse me. Andre explains to the group that the gem has very significance to the island. The emerald is the stone of eternal love. According to historians, the emerald fortifies the spirit and helps to overcome misfortune. In ancient times, the stone was known for its healing nature and is worn by children of noble kin to keep them flushed in physical and mental refinery. Even in ancient times, especially in Egyptian times, the green color of the emerald represents fertility and rebirth. The jewel is hidden deep within the confines of the mountains, along with its ancient artifacts. Rigel Kate Rocky gazed into the picture of the gemstone with amazement. Wow, that looks so beautiful. Timothy, on the other hand, had a look of curiosity on his face, then pats Andre on the shoulder and compliments him. Excellent work, brother. Yeah, you actually did something good for once in your life, Tommy sneered at Andre. Hey, which is more than I can say for your sorry ass, Andre responds. Hey, lay off my brother, alright? Get ready, we're leaving in 5 minutes. Alright, excuse me, your royal majesty, Tommy smirked as he resumed loading his stuff onto the plane. Hey, Andre, listen, I'm very proud of you. Don't let that guy give you a hard time, okay? Hey, don't worry, bro, I got this, and thanks. Then Raquel pulls Timothy to the side to have a little conversation. Honey, I get that he's your little brother, but sometimes you gotta let him speak for himself. I mean, you just can't shelter him all the time. Hey, I'm not sheltering him. I know, but that's not what I want to talk to you about. When Andre showed that photo of that gem, you had a certain look on your face, like you were about to hatch a scheme or something. It's not that I was scheming. It's just that... What? I gotta confess, Rocky. I've been feeling exhausted, physically and emotionally. Each time when I try to use my powers, I'm losing every strength within my body. It feels like I'm slipping away. Timothy, you're pushing yourself over the edge. Is that why you haven't eaten or coming to bed lately? Yes. And I can't go on like this. And when he showed me that picture of the emerald and seeing the potential of what it can do, Rocky, this could be a good opportunity for not only for me, but for us as well. Even though Rocky understood where Timothy is coming from, she still has a bit of concern for him. With that emerald, it could really rejuvenate me because, like you told me earlier, this team needs a leader more than ever. And I can't let you all down. Besides, I've seen that look on your face. Oh, wow, it looks so beautiful. Give me a break. Raquel gave a smirk when Timothy playfully mimicked her voice. Timothy, I just don't want you to lose sight of what's really important. And I've also told you that you don't have to bear this pain alone. We're in your corner. Remember that. Right. Thank you. Then Steel honks his horn and yells, Hey, will you two lovebirds come on? We're burning daylight out here. Yeah, unless y'all want to freeze to death, I suggest you bring your ass on this plane now, Tommy yelled from his window seat. Then both Rocky and Timmy ran to the plane quickly as possible to escape the constant snowfall. By the way, Timmy, I packed all the extra clothes, deodorant, snacks, and beverages for the whole crew. Shoot, about time y'all made it. Oh, shut the hell up, Tommy, and put out that cigarette. Oh no, bro, don't let him do that. It's a real improvement from what it usually smells like. Ha ha. Tommy sneers and flips him off. Then Steele yells from the cockpit. All right, kids, time to stop bickering and strap in because we are leaving in 10 seconds. Then he turns on every switch, checks the engine, checks the mirror to fix his hair, and finally, while the plane is revving up, Steele announces, "Good afternoon, everyone. This is your captain speaking. I hope you all buckle up because we'll be arriving to our destination in less than 30 minutes. 30 minutes? Timothy asked. Yes, Timmy. According to our navigation system, it takes about 2 hours to get there on a normal flight. But we should be getting there quicker, courtesy of the Mach 10 engine that I've installed this morning. Wait, how's that even possible? Hey, will y'all quit the small talk already? Let's get this show on the road. I'm freezing out here. Ugh, Thomas said while holding on to his coat. After the crew has already strapped themselves in, Steele threw on his shades. I wish I had my sunglasses with me. He threw on his shades and quotes a line from his favorite show, Cowboy Bebop. I think it's time that we blow this scene and get everybody in this stuff together. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam. With one flick of the switch, the engine roars, and just like that, the plane blasts off from the hangar to the runway and into the sky in lightning speed, leaving the runway with flames and skid marks. Sorry about that. Steele yee-haws like a deranged cowboy while the crew holds on for dear life, hoping that their whole body and headspace are completely intact while the flight is over. And so, our crew of freedom fighters are set out on a journey to a mysterious island to find their arch nemesis to put an end to his evil plans once and for all. Woo! And that was just the first chapter. Oh, man. Here it is. The Search of the Emerald. Well, I can't give you the details for the next for my next chapter, but I'm just going to give it to you anyway. There's going to be some supernatural, I say supernatural, paranormal activities going down once they get to their destination. And finally, we're going to see if we're finally going to introduce Dr. Machino and the crew finally getting into the action. Yes. Let's just say there's going to be a lot of fighting, lots of drama and conflict. It's going to be real entertaining. So stick around for my next video. So in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and keep writing and drawing and working on these bars. You know what I'm saying? And thank y'all. For a few of those who stuck around, thank y'all, man. I truly appreciate it. My throat is dry. God dang. So Brian J, this is only the beginning of things to come. My next video, I'm going to be reading this book to you. A Good Girl's Guide. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. Holly Jackson, y'all. Now I'm going ahead to get out of these clothes, take my ass to bed, or a new day will arrive. It's gonna be hot as fuck as usual. So anyway, it's Brian J. Peace.